Last kind of problem that we're going to do with the fundamental theorem of algebra, and that is solving a cubic completely, which is something we haven't done before. Last chapter, we took quadratics, like that, and we solved them using factoring or the quadratic formula. But now we're one-upping it. We're saying now we have a cubic, so I actually replaced this problem here. I want to do this one. And we're going to solve this cubic completely using synthetic division, factoring, and quadratic formula. So everything that we've learned so far. And here's how this works. So you're given a cubic, and a problem like this, you would also be given one root. So I know that one root, or one solution, or 1, 0 is x equals 5. The first step when you see a problem like this is synthetic division. So you're going to do synthetic division with the root that's given to you and the equation that's given to you. So I'm going to write out the synthetic division. I note that I don't have any placeholders. I just have this. Now I want you to pause the video, try and do the synthetic division on your own. You should be able to do that at this point. And then come back and see if you got it right. Okay, you should have gotten 1, 4, 3, 0, which first off, remainder theorem tells us we got a 0, so yes, 5 is a root. Check. If you know that this is a root, you should always get 0. So that's a little check step for you on the test. If it says that x equals 5 is a root, you should get a remainder of 0. If you don't, you did something wrong. So I can write out my answer, x squared plus 4x plus 3. And I know that x plus 5 is a factor because I got a remainder of 0. So that means I can simplify my original cubic equation into this, where it's the answer times the factor, or the root. Actually, sorry, I skipped a step. If I take this root, just like I did in the last problems, I would want to minus 5 to get it to equal to 0 to be my factor. Sorry, side note on that real quick. So that means this big equation, this cubic, is now simplified to this. Now, what's more is I can use my skills from last chapter to now simplify the quadratic. So I've got this. I'm going to try to factor this. If it doesn't factor, you're going to have to do the quadratic formula. But we might as well try to factor it first, so then we don't have to. So I take 3. I want two numbers that will multiply to 3 and add to 4. Well, I think 1 and 3 should work. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. So now we can do our factoring. This one happened to factor it out nice, so we don't have to do the quadratic formula. X plus 1, x plus 3. And now I have taken this cubic and factored it down all the way to my equation using synthetic division, using the remainder theorem, using factoring, everything we've learned so far, all in one big thing. Now we're not quite done. I want to find the solutions from this factored form. So what you're going to do is what we did last chapter. I'm going to set each of these equal to 0, solve it, and now I've got solutions, or roots, or zeros, all the same thing. So this kind of problem, you don't have any of these on your in-class practice for sticker. However, you do have several of them on your Canvas homework. Whenever you see a problem like this, think of it in three steps. First, let's label these. Step number 1, take the given root, synthetic division, and to get your answer. Step 2, you're going to write out your answer with the root that's given to you, and then factor the answer using quadratic formula or factoring. So then you get it all factored out. And then step 3, set them all equal to 0, solve them all. And that's how you would solve a problem like this. Now, there's one last example I want to do. I just wrote it in right here on your assignment because there are some examples on your skill check and test where you're given a cubic that you need to factor all the way, but you're not given a root. So can you see how that's different? This one I have a cubic and a root. This one I'm just given a cubic, no root, which means I can't do synthetic division. I can't do that first step of synthetic division because I don't have a root to do synthetic division with. Well, if you have a problem like this, it's going to be because you don't have this last term here, which means this problem is actually easier than that first one we did because I have a GCF. If you see a problem like this, you can take a GCF out like that. And now that I've taken my GCF out, I can factor what's left. So I need to times to 14, add to -9. So it should be -2 and -7. So I've got x minus 2, x minus 7. And there we go. Completely factored out, and we didn't even have to do the synthetic division step. So sometimes you might also have a problem like that. If it doesn't give you a root, that's because you're going to be able to take a GCF out, and it's way faster. So then last step, I take all the factors, set them equal to 0, solve them. So I get x equals 0, x equals 2, and x equals 7. So you can go ahead and get started on your homework now. You will have problems like these on your homework, just not on your in-class practice. And they will also be on your skill check.